there's something about the way the sun rises each morning, painting the sky with colors we could never replicate, that reminds us how fleeting this world truly is. Each new day comes with a whisper, a quieter reminder that time is slipping through our fingers. It moves quickly, doesn't it? One moment we're making plans for tomorrow, and the next we're looking back at moments we'll never get to relive. There's a deeper truth here, one that goes beyond calendars and clocks. We were made for more than just chasing after what feels good in the moment or building kingdoms that crumble when the winds change. There's a purpose woven into every breath we take, a calling greater than anything this world can offer. And yet, so often we find ourselves distracted by the noise, the endless demands, the pressures, the pursuit of things that don't last. Have you ever stopped to think about why you're here? Not just on this earth, but in this very moment. What if everything, the joys, the struggles, the victories, the heartaches, is meant to point you towards something eternal, something unshakable, something real? The truth is, there's a God who loves you deeply, who knows your name, and who has been patiently waiting for you to turn your heart toward Him. He's not distant or indifferent. No, He's closer than you realize, longing to fill the emptiness that nothing else seems to satisfy. When we live as though this life is all there is, we miss out on the beauty of eternity. We settle for temporary pleasures instead of pursuing a relationship with the one who created us. But imagine what would happen if we woke up each day with the understanding that today matters. Not just for what we can accomplish, but for how we can honor the one who gave us life in the first place. Imagine living with gratitude, humility, and purpose, knowing that every step we take is an opportunity to bring glory to the one who holds it all together. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of daily life, isn't it? Bills to pay, dreams to chase, people to please. But let me ask you this, when all is said and done, what will remain? Will it be the wealth you accumulated, the accolades you earned, or the hours spent worrying about things you couldn't control? Or will it be the love you shared, the faith you lived, and the hope you carried because you knew where your true home lies? Every sunrise is a gift, and every sunset is a reminder. This life wasn't designed to be wasted on selfish pursuits or empty ambition. It was meant to be lived with intention, with eyes fixed on the one who gives meaning to it all. So instead of letting fear or doubt hold you back, why not surrender it all? Give Him your worries, your pain, your brokenness, and let Him transform them into something beautiful. Trust that His plans for you are far better than anything you could dream up on your own. Let these words linger in your heart today. You weren't made to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You were made to rest in the arms of the one who holds the universe together. Don't wait another day. Start living for what truly matters. Eternity is closer than you think, and the choice you make today will echo far beyond the days you have left on this earth. So go ahead, breathe deeply, walk boldly, and live fully. But above all, live for Him. Because in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. There's a rhythm to life that we often overlook, a quiet cadence that reminds us how interconnected everything truly is. Think about it. Every heartbeat, every sunrise, every season that comes and goes speaks to a greater design. Nothing happens by accident. Even the smallest details, the way a flower blooms, the way snowflakes fall uniquely from the sky, point to a creator who cares deeply about his creation. And yet so many of us rush through our days without stopping to notice these wonders. We're too busy trying to keep up with deadlines, social expectations, or personal goals that sometimes feel more like burdens than blessings. What if instead of running on autopilot, we paused long enough to ask ourselves what really matters? What if we took a moment to consider why we wake up each morning and what we want our legacy to be when we take our final breath? These questions might seem daunting at first glance, but they hold within them the power to transform how we live. When we shift our focus from temporary achievements to eternal significance, something remarkable happens. our priorities change, our perspectives sharpen, and suddenly the noise of this world begins to fade, replaced by a stillness that allows us to hear the whispers of God's voice. It's easy to lose sight of eternity when the demands of today press heavily upon us. Bills pile up, relationships strain, health falters, and dreams slip further out of reach. In those moments it can feel like God is distant or worse, silent. But here's the truth: He hasn't gone anywhere. If anything, He's closer than ever, offering strength for the weary soul and peace for the troubled mind. The problem isn't that He's absent, it's that we've stopped listening. We've allowed the distractions of this world to drown out the gentle prompting of His Spirit. Yet even in our silence He remains faithful. He waits patiently for us to turn back to Him, knowing that His love never wavers, no matter how far we wander. Let's talk about faith for a moment, not just believing in God, but trusting Him completely. Faith isn't simply acknowledging that He exists. It's surrendering your life to His will. It's saying, God, I don't have all the answers, but I trust You do. That kind of surrender doesn't come easily, especially when life feels chaotic or uncertain. But here's the beautiful part: faith isn't about having everything figured out. It's about leaning into God's promises, even when the road ahead seems unclear. It's about choosing to believe that He works all things together for good, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who seem to radiate joy, peace, and purpose regardless of their situation. What sets them apart? More often than not, it's their unwavering faith. They've learned to anchor their lives in something unshakable. They understand that storms will come, but they also know who holds the seas in His hands. When trials hit, they don't panic because they've already placed their trust in the One who sees the bigger picture. Their confidence doesn't stem from their own abilities. It flows from the assurance that God is always in control. Now let me ask you this: are you living with that same level of trust? Do you wake up each day believing that God has a plan for your life, a plan filled with hope and a future? Or are you holding on to fear, doubt, and self-reliance, thinking you have to navigate this journey alone? Here's the reality: you weren't designed to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. God never intended for you to face life's challenges without His guide. He wants to walk beside you, leading you step by step, lighting your path even in the darkest valleys. But here's the catch: faith requires action. It's not enough to say you believe in God. You must live like you do. True faith shows itself in the choices we make, the words we speak, and the way we treat others. It's reflected in how we handle adversity, how we respond to criticism, and how we extend grace to those who hurt us. Living for God means aligning your actions with His teaching. It means letting go of bitterness, pride, and selfish ambition, and embracing humility, forgiveness, and love. It's not always easy. In fact, it's often quite challenging, but it's worth it. Because when you live for God, you discover a depth of fulfillment that nothing else can provide. Consider the impact you could have if you lived each day with eternity in mind. Imagine waking up knowing that your purpose extends beyond yourself, that every interaction, every decision, every act of kindness has the potential to point someone toward God. You see, you were created to make a difference, not necessarily in grand headline-worthy ways, but in the small, everyday moments that shape lives. A kind word spoken at the right time, a helping hand extended when it's least expected, a prayer whispered on behalf of someone who needs it most. These seemingly insignificant acts can ripple outward, touching hearts and transforming lives in ways you may never fully understand. The Bible tells us that we are called to be salt and light in this world. Salt preserves, flavors, and heals. Light dispels darkness and guides the lost. As followers of Christ, we are meant to embody both qualities, to bring flavor and healing to a broken world, and to shine brightly in places where despair threatens to overtake hope. But here's the question: are you fulfilling that calling? Are you being the salt and light God created you to be? Or are you hiding your light under a basket, afraid of what others might think or say? Fear is one of the greatest barriers to living boldly for God. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. But here's the truth: fear cannot coexist with fear. Where fear dominates, faith diminishes. And where faith reigns, fear loses its grip. So if you find yourself hesitating, unsure of whether you're ready to live fully for God, remember this: you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all together. All you need is a willingness to trust Him and follow wherever He leads. One of the most powerful ways to live for God is through service. When we serve others, we reflect His heart. We show the world what love looks like in action. Service doesn't require grand gestures or elaborate plans. Sometimes it's as simple as lending a listening ear to a friend who's struggling, volunteering at a local shelter, or sharing a meal with someone in need. The key is to approach service with a humble spirit, recognizing that every act of kindness is an opportunity to glorify God. When we serve others, we aren't just meeting their physical or emotional needs. We're planting seeds of hope that can grow into something far greater than we could ever imagine. Of course, serving others doesn't mean neglecting your own well-being. God calls us to care for ourselves too, not out of selfishness, but out of stewardship. After all, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take time to rest, recharge, and reconnect with God. Spend time in prayer. Immerse yourself in Scripture, and allow His presence to fill you with peace and strength. Remember, your relationship with God is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Without it, even the best intentions can crumble under pressure. As you seek to live each day for God, don't underestimate the power of community. Surround yourself with people who encourage you, challenge you, and remind you of who you are in Christ. Fellowship isn't just a nice to have, it's essential. It's in community that we find accountability, support, and inspiration. It's where we celebrate victories together and lean on one another during times of struggle. Don't isolate yourself, thinking you have to figure everything out on your own. God gave us each other for a reason to walk this journey side by side, lifting each other up along the way. Let's talk about gratitude for a moment. Gratitude is a game changer. It shifts our focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. When we cultivate a grateful heart, we begin to see God's handiwork everywhere. In the laughter of a child, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the kindness of a stranger. Gratitude reminds us that even in the midst of hardship, there is always something to be thankful for. And when we express gratitude not just to God, but to those around us, we create an atmosphere of joy and positivity that draws others closer to Him. Speaking of drawing others closer to God, let's not forget the importance of sharing our faith. Evangelism doesn't have to be intimidating. It's not about delivering polished sermons or debating theology. It's about sharing your story, the real, raw, authentic version of your journey with God. People are drawn to authenticity. They want to know that they're not alone in their struggles, that there's hope beyond their pain, and that God meets us exactly where we are. So don't be afraid to open up about how God has worked in your life. Your testimony might be the very thing someone needs to hear to take their first step toward Him. Now let's address something that holds many of us back: guilt. Guilt over past mistakes, guilt over missed opportunities, guilt over falling short of the person we wish we were. Here's the truth: God doesn't define you by your failures. He defines you by His grace. Yes, you've made mistakes, probably plenty of them, but guess what? God knew about every single one before you were even born, and He still chose you. He still loves you. He still has a plan for your life. So instead of dwelling on your shortcomings, focus on moving forward. Let go of the guilt and embrace the freedom that comes from knowing you are forgiven. Freedom is a gift, but it comes with responsibility. When we accept God's grace, we're called to live differently, not to earn His favor, but to honor the sacrifice that made it possible. This means letting go of habits, attitudes, and behaviors that hinder our relationship with Him. It means pursuing holiness, not out of obligation, but out of love. Holiness isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about striving to become more like Christ each day, trusting that He will complete the work He started in you. Here's another important truth: living for God doesn't mean life will suddenly become easier. In fact, it might get harder. The enemy doesn't give up without a fight. and he'll do everything in his power to discourage you, distract you, and derail you. But here's the good news: God is stronger. He's already won the victory. When attacks come, and they will, you don't have to face them alone. Stand firm in your faith, put on the armor of God, and trust that he will protect you. The battles may rage, but the outcome is certain. Victory belongs to the Lord. In the midst of life's chaos, it's crucial to remember that God's timing is perfect. We live in a world obsessed with instant gratification, where patience is often seen as a weakness. But God operates on a different timetable, one that prioritizes growth, refinement, and preparation. If you're waiting for something, a breakthrough, a miracle, a dream to come true, don't lose heart. Trust that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail for your ultimate good. His delays are not denials, they're opportunities for you to deepen your faith and grow in dependence on him. Let's talk about perseverance for a moment. Perseverance is the glue that holds faith together. It's what keeps us going when the finish line feels impossibly far away. Life is full of obstacles, setbacks, and detours, but perseverance reminds us that the journey is just as important as the destination. It teaches us resilience, patience, and endurance. It molds us into vessels capable of carrying God's purpose. So when the road gets tough, and it will, dig deep. Lean into God's strength. Keep pressing forward, knowing that every step brings you closer to the fulfillment of his promises. Along the way, don't forget to celebrate the victories, no matter how small they may seem. Celebrating isn't about pride, it's about gratitude. It's about acknowledging God's faithfulness and giving him the glory he deserves. Did you overcome a fear today? Celebrate it. Did you choose forgiveness over resentment? Celebrate it. Did you take a step of obedience, however tiny? Celebrate it. Each victory is a testament to God's power working in and through you. And when you celebrate, you invite others to join in the rejoicing, creating a culture of praise and thanksgiving that honors him. Finally, let's talk about leaving a legacy. Your life is a story, and every day you're writing a new chapter. What kind of story are you telling? Are you building a legacy rooted in love, faith, and service? Or are you chasing after things that will fade away with time? Legacy isn't just about what you leave behind materially. It's about the impact you have on the people around you. It's about the seeds you plant, the lives you touch, and the example you set. When your time on this earth comes to an end, what will remain? Will it be memories of a life lived for God, or regrets over opportunities missed? So as we wrap this up, remember, every sunrise is a gift, and every sunset is a reminder. This life isn't meant to be lived on autopilot, or wasted chasing things that don't last. It's about living with purpose, eyes fixed on eternity, hearts anchored in faith, and hands ready to serve. Let today be the day you surrender your fears, doubts, and worries to God. Trust him fully, live boldly, and leave a legacy rooted in love, faith, and service. Because in the end, it's not just about the years in your life, it's about the life in your years. Walk forward with confidence, knowing he walks beside you,